we're here, and it's probably what I should call Gringo Carne Guisada because, well, the only reason it really has that flavor is because I cheat and I use Bolner's Carne Guisada seasoning. But this is how I do it. This is venison. I'm going to be cooking it longer because it's venison. But the first thing we do is the fat's hot. You'll hear it sizzle. We'll put that in and start browning the sides like we've done with other things. And then we will continue after this gets browned. We're going to put, after we get it done, and you can see that it's spot saying hot. That's okay. That just means it's worried about it burning and it's telling you to be careful. So you see that went right away. So if this were regular beef that I got at HEB, I'd do it for 30 to 45 minutes. Because it's venison and you saw that white film that was still on it, I'm going to do it for 2 hours. But if you're doing it with regular beef, just don't worry about it. So what we're doing is we're browning it, because again, that helps. Some people say you don't need to do it. I've always done it, and I've been very happy with the results, so I don't see any reason that I shouldn't be doing it. See, it doesn't take long to brown. That actually needs more time. So we'll let that go. Then once that's done, we're going to put in some vegetable broth, because I don't have beef broth. But to fix that, I have 2 beef bouillon cubes. Thanks, Mom, for teaching me about bouillon cubes. And that will give us the beefy flavor, which sort of matches that. Currently, there's nothing in there. We're going to be putting some onions. We're going to be putting some garlic. We're going to be putting some peppers. You can use green peppers. I use the colorful peppers because they're nice. And these are serrano peppers. You do not have to use these. Then, once we get it ready for the Instapot, we're then going to add from the garden the fresh cilantro. We add some marjoram, and then we're going to add some thyme and oregano. All those fresh from the garden. I'll strip the leaves off when we get to that point, and that adds just a really nice flavor to it. So we will be back after I get this browned and we start adding the other stuff. And actually, before it gets totally brown, before we go away, we are going to, as soon as this gets hot again after the meat's cooled it down, we're going to add the onion and the garlic, but we'll come back and do that because there's enough meat in there. This is going to take a second. So we'll be right back. We're going to add some garlic. I want to get it into the heat, so I'm going to pull this aside. I'm going to pull that aside and just add that in there. Then I'm going to do the same with the onion. I'm cheating and let somebody else cut the onion. Put that in there. And I think I want a little bit more of the garlic, so I'm going to keep that pulled. Actually, I think I have enough there, so I'm going to just come over here. Get it down there and let this cook for just a little bit more and get that under it so it sautés. Let that saute under the meat just a little bit, and then we will see. As the what I go by is smell a lot. My mom used to say you can't trust your smell. Well, so far I've been able to. So we're just gonna let that go. When I start smelling the onion and the garlic, then that will be my cue to add the rest of this stuff. And remember, with the Instapot, the thing that makes it work is the amount of fluid. So I have enough of this, so we should be good. These you can just drop in and they melt pretty nicely themselves. If you were here, you could smell that the smell of that has just changed and it's smelling closer to what we're looking for. So we will take these and drop them in. Then we will make sure they just get down there. We will add this. If there's not enough of this, we will. Now, I let it heat up while it's in saute mode because that way it just works. It goes quicker to get the seal, to get the pressure cooker working, and I'm sure that I have everything in. And I also do a little bit of a smell test. So I put that in, and then the peppers. And again, you don't have to do the peppers, but if you like spicy. And when we get to the rest of this, a lot of this sauce is going to be drained off, so you can pull this stuff out as you don't want it or whatever else. So we'll stir this up, get that stuff sort of mixed in as we're waiting to get hot, and then we'll take the cilantro. See, I let it get a little bit long. Take this out and pull the leaves, pull the leaves, pull the leaves. Put that in. And you can smell that right away. Put that in. Put that in. So cilantro. Then there's some marjoram, which is an Italian seasoning, I know, but it really seems to add a nice flavor to the meat. Put that in. And then somewhere in here is some oregano. There's a guy I like that's from Australia says oregano. I say that because it makes people crazy. Oh, what is that? Here we go. Here's the oregano. So we'll take those leaves off and put those in. You can always, when you strain it later, take care of that. So get those in, and you can instantly smell the fresh herbs from the garden. You can instantly smell the difference that makes in what you're doing. So you gotta, one thing I gotta be careful of is not to use the proportions that you're used to when you're using, stuff that isn't right out of the garden. There's so much fresher coming right from there. So that's done. Make sure everything is wet. It's been getting warm this whole time. I scrape everything off the side because that makes the cleanup later easier. And then we're gonna set this, because it's venison, we're gonna set this for 2 hours, and that should give us very, very tender meat when it's done. So do that, pressure cooker, 2 hours. And we will be back when that is all done. Make sure you seal this, which I didn't do, because without that, you just blow steam everywhere. We'll see you in just a moment. All right, well, as you can see, mass happened, a few other things happened. So we have this bin here. Then one of the great things about the Instapot is it will keep your food warm until you're ready to deal with it. And it just adds more flavory goodness while you're there. So, as you can see what we have there. Now we're gonna dump this out because we're not gonna need all this fluid and all the stuff in it. And we're gonna filter it. So we're gonna come over here. Smells really good. Okay, so part 1. Part 2, I'll be right back for. Take the meat back out of here. Put it back in the Instapot. One of the reasons I strained it is, remember I put all that stuff in there that wasn't all the twiggy stuff from the garden. So all that flavor's already gotten in here. My mom used to always go to all the work to pick all the meat and everything else off the bones of a turkey. It doesn't take much reading to realize that it doesn't do much good because you've cooked all the nutrition already out of it. Just add some texture. So nothing in there. So, actually looks pretty good. So we're gonna do that. So step 1 done. So now that we have that done, we take this back to the Instapot. You can see it's just falling apart. Cancel this, go back to saute. We're going to get some of this juice. We're going to use the same stuff we cooked it in until it looks about like that. Then we're going to cheat. And for this amount, we're going to use Bolner's Carne Guisada, and we are going to find a tablespoon. And we're going to do roughly 3 tablespoons of this. To make this work. 1, 2, as I said, roughly. I have another one that fits in there, but I forgot to get it out. 3. So that's in. That probably didn't sound good. Take this. You can see the meat just falling apart while we do this. We're trying to warm it up. See, with that 2 hours. And remember, I have all this, if it wasn't enough, I have all this other stuff over here that I can mix in. And then, this is where I think I get not quite authentic. Take some fire roasted tomatoes. Put those in, stir it up. Now we can put it on the Instapot for just a few more seconds, or frequently I'll leave it on the slow cooker second, a few seconds to do this, but just to get it all mixed up. Thicken up the sauce. There's a thickener in that. That was some of that skin from before. The nice part, no, this is coming apart. I washed my hands before I did this. So there we go. We're just gonna let that cook for a little bit. I'm gonna move it to slow cook. And we will move this to high. Okay, so we're gonna put on more. And we're just going to let that sit for a little bit. Again, we'll stir it again in a few minutes, and we'll be right back. All right, well, it's done. It's only been just a little bit in there, probably about 30 minutes. You can let it sit much longer, just in the slow cooker mode. Do that. I pull the fork up and I put it back away. Take this out, and it is, I already sampled it, it's good. Really good. Look how tender, look how much it falls apart. And that was some pretty, that could have been, if I'd grilled it, some pretty tough venison. But it just falls apart. Nobody would ever guess that this isn't a pretty decent cut of meat. And again, that was the extra 2 hours. So, hope you enjoy. I'll put the ingredients on the website. Happy Holy Eats.